raid coming out. We still don't have a date when it is. We're here with Cran, as usual, on stuff like this. We're in the same guild. We talk about this stuff all the time, and it's about the time where both of us are now going. It's now scarily close, and we're both going. Do we really want to continue with Crate? And the answer from me is I've already been farming bits. I know you have as well, so we're going to rate them of how it is outside of the new raid usage and go from that. Because if you can use them outside the new raid, well, they've got a use. So if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Cram. As Want mentioned, we're in the same guild together, and getting ready for the new Return of the Jedi raid here. We've got some good characters in this raid. I think it's a great time to be planning right now. You don't want to plan when the raid's already started. You want to maximize the rewards you can get. And having these characters up and running, ready to go day one, just means that you're going to be able to get the highest possible personal track rewards for the longest amount of time, which we know those add up. We're expecting this raid to run about 9 months. So might as well maximize that. If you're going to invest in these characters, I think this is a great time for it.
So you've done this lovely chart today. I've just opened it up, so your lovely face was nice and big a moment ago, and now you're in the bottom right corner.
Love it.
So
More comfortable down here.
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those. So we'll start with the very entertaining tier of D.
You want to
Because,
start at the bottom.
yeah, everybody can tell Leia's going to be tier S. We'll start with the trash tier. And I have a comment about this tier very specifically, but you go ahead and explain first why you put those five down there.
Yeah, so with any type of requirements, there's always going to be some duds. Ewok Scout, I think, is a no-brainer. You don't really see that character used on any of the Ewok teams, especially now with Nisa. Even if you are splitting them and doing two Ewok teams and 3v3s for some reason, Ewok Scout's going to be the one that you leave off here. He's just useless in all categories, not required for anything else. So, any arguments there?
Not at all, except I wish there was a not to be used tier, do not bother turning to stars tier.
Yeah,
Honestly,
Ewok Scout you can completely ignore for any account. There's no account where you should be building Ewok Scout if you're trying
the
to play efficiently.
for me, even Tebow is the same. I've got both of them on my account actually unlocked. They aren't starred up past 2 stars. I have now completed the C3PO event. They will never go beyond their original unless they end up with like 700 shards sat there, and then it'll be give me the shard shop currency. That's all they'll ever get. They'll never get gear. They'll never get levels.
As it should be. Although I will
Everything
say,
left.
Tipo, I think at one point was used for the C3PO unlock event. I think some people were recommending him over Logray.
Yeah.
I personally think Logray is a little bit better of a character. As you can see, we've got him ranked a little bit higher here. But yeah, Tebow's
Yeah.
another one you can ignore. You might get some use out of him in a 3v3, depending on, maybe if you got lucky and had him pulled in.
Yeah. So
Some early
Magna
shards.
Trooper, Death Trooper, and Stormtrooper.
Yeah, and all those three characters, they're not terrible in an Iden team, but they don't have much use outside of that. Um, I don't
I
see a reason. Death Trooper does have a ship, but
that's the
he's
only.
kind of built to work alongside Krennic too, which
Yeah.
Krennic's not a heavily used character, so I put them in the D tier.
It's one of those. That's the only reason I'd be tempted between C and D for Death Trooper is he's got a ship, but that ship isn't even used. Even at the higher
Rarely.
levels, even low down, it's just never used. It's trash. It's one of those
Yep.
of oh, I need something to go in and die. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So, anything else in the D tier you specifically want to talk about?
Honestly, that's it in the detail. It is literally those three. They're great on an Iden team, but outside of that, outside of GAC for that, it's non-existent. It just not worth it. Now we will
Yeah,
go
I think
to
there's
the we will go
a
to
little
the
bit more
tier
meat in the C
before.
tier for sure.
Yeah, the C tier. It's talks for itself. One second, I had somebody calling me. I'll pause that for now. So the C tier, it talks for itself. Iden, she's got her uses, but she's the leader of the team. That's the only reason she makes it up to C. Admiral Akbar,
Good ship. Good ship for Iden, though, too.
yeah, that's the only reason it would ever go higher is the ship. But
Yeah, I actually did debate putting her in the B tier. The only reason I didn't put her in the B tier is just because that's such a skippable team these days.
yeah,
With everything else, the Lightspeed bundles, all the other resources you need, do you really want to commit Zetas and Omicrons to Iden's team? I mean, they're solid in GAC. They used to hold up a little bit better on defense, but Wampa just goes through and wipes them out pretty easily. So I
it's one of
don't see a
those.
huge use case there.
You can make a one-proof Iden team, but you have to spend so much on speed, so much on potency, and the other team just walks back over it. So it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, the only reason I would say she wasn't in D is because of her ship. If her ship wasn't as good as it is, it would be that can she make D? Can she make C?
I
Again,
still think she would be, personally.
yeah, I think the ship makes up for the issues with her actual team.
Yeah,
Akbar,
I think C is the
capital
right
ship.
spot.
Akbar is just, it's a capital ship. It's something that gives you another fleet. You can't say no to that. He's helpful in Rebels in some situations, but meh. Pat
Right,
Plute.
and he is a character.
Yeah.
Akbar, I think that you're probably going to have more in the early game, where Home 1 is still a useful ship for you. He's going to fall off late game once people start to farm Profundity. So I'd love to see his fleet get a couple more ships, make it useful, kind of like they did with Endurance. Would be nice to see. But
Yeah.
as of now, that hasn't happened. So that's kind of why I had him in C.
So we'll group the next two, which is Range Trooper and Shore Trooper. They
And these
can
are
be
two
used in.
characters I actually do like. I like both of these characters. Range Trooper can be slotted into the Veers team in place of like a Stark or even a Moff Gideon. He's very useful. You get the mass assist. He gets out a lot of buffs, which helps them go pretty quick. And then with Shore Trooper, you have the taunt. He's a very good tank. He's just kind of, and also a ship for him as well. He's just kind of not one of those characters that you normally farm, though. He's kind of outside of the realm of use for any of the legendaries or galactic legends.
It's one of those for me. Those two, you can use them as pre-tank, pre-taunting tank, or as a shield bunny for your Moff Gideon teams, or whatever you need. They are helpful, but again, it's very niche uses. Now we've got three Ewoks in this tier of Paplu, Low Grey, and what's it? Right, 1 second. I think I've had
Elder,
somebody knock at
that's
the
Elder
door.
there.
So,
Okay.
oh, okay, where is? I think it was in the door. No. Right, I will be back. I'm back. Oh,
Back with me or back with your person at the door? I can't
no,
tell.
back with you now. Sorry about that. I was not expecting it.
Oh, no worries.
So the three Ewoks we've got in this, we've got Paplu, Logray, and Ewok Elder. Um, I surprisingly agree with where they are. Even though you know
And
my
you're an
love for
Ewok guy,
Ewoks.
too. You love the
Um,
Ewoks.
I love them. The only reason I'd say they're down there is because the other three that we've got higher up actually make a decent 3v3 team. And
Yeah.
I can see those three being more useful in the raid. They're also needed for Leia. They're also needed in Row. It's one of those.
I
It's
don't. Are they all needed for Leia? I feel like those were the ones that weren't the requirements. I don't
so
think
the
Low
ones that are
Gray
in
or
tier.
Elder were on there.
yeah, the ones that are in tier C are not needed for rope. Well, low grade's needed for rope, but so high up we're never going to use them. The rest of them, they're not needed for layer. It's a case of you're only going to be really using them in 5v5. And with how it's gone, it's do you take low grey or pop blue? And you're torn between the two of do I need a tank or don't I? And that's where I sit and I go, I don't know. Um,
Yeah, honestly, if I'm building that team out, I'm taking Paplu, just for the extra speed, and he can kind of catch people off guard. So
yes.
I would put him ahead of the other two, and then Elder would probably be my fifth. Logray would be the one I think I would leave off of that team.
Um, for me, out of all of them at the moment, I'm leaving Paplu off. But as you know, I run fast Ewoks, so I don't need the speed to catch you out, and it allows me to have all the debuffs and all the removing your buffs, and it does help. But it's one of those. There's some teams that if I'm using them on offensive, I need Paplu to take the hits. So yeah, I agree. They're all so close. It's worth it.
Well,
Now, tier B, I have one issue in here simply because of how annoying the character is, but we'll get to that. Wicket first. Why B for Wicket?
well, Wicket is a requirement for GL Leia. He also has that extra tier that he unlocks on the Endor escalation event, which gets you the Zetas every month. So I
Yeah.
think he's a good investment. He does bring some damage to the Ewoks team as
Oh,
well.
yes.
So if you're eventually going to go for GL Leia, you're going to have to invest in Wicket anyway. Whereas some of the others you wouldn't have to. So that bumped him up a tier for me.
Okay. That that is perfect. It's one of those. I've seen him do some serious levels of damage, which
Mm-hmm.
people sit there and go, "Holy hell!" and watch it demolish teams. Then you've got it's Stark, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah,
Is it
that's
no
Stark
Stark?
there. And yeah, he's useful. He can actually go into an Iden or into a Veer's team. He does not have the leader tag, so he's
Yeah.
useful in either of those teams. He gets some buffs out. He kind of helps them get the turn meter train moving. He's a great character. He's also one of the requirements for C. So again, a Galactic Legend requirement kind of helps boost him a little bit.
Yeah. And then you've got the requirement for Jedi Knight Luke, which is our
Yeah,
lovely
Lando.
Lando, which nobody likes taking to relics, but
No.
he has uses. It's surprising how useful he is, but he just unlocks Luke. That is who he is.
Yeah, he's just a gate to some better characters, is what he is. But you need him for Jedi Knight Luke at Relic 3. You need him for Jedi Master Luke. I feel like at Relic 5, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So you
It's,
gotta Jedi Knight Luke. We're gonna talk a little bit more in a little bit about him, but he's such a
yes,
gate to so many GLs that you're
he,
gonna have to invest in Lando at some point. You might as well get some usage out of him in the raid. This is gonna be his time to shine. He
yeah.
gets a little use with Sanastaros in some of those teams, but that's
So
not a great team. That's a mid-tier team at best.
now to the character that I have issues with being into B, but why did you put Drogon in B, other than the fact that it's a very annoying character, the way they brought him out in a way?
Rogan is in B because he is the huge portion of the damage in a GLA team. The burnings that he puts out, he's him and R2 are really the two characters that you can't run Leia without. She's got some
Yes.
other characters that can be mixed and matched, but Drogon is just such an integral piece of that team, which is what really lifted him into the B tier.
So I would
You
probably
can
have
argue
wanted
with
to
that
put
if
him
you want
A.
to.
I would have wanted to put him A because of just how
Okay.
integral to Leia he is. And it's proven this 3v3 with GAC, the amount of people that are having issues with Leia, R2, and Drogon is unbelievable. It's just
But I will
one
argue
combination from hell.
I'll argue the other side of that as well, though. That if you don't have Leia, Drogon is basically useless.
Yeah, totally agree there. But it's one of those. This is Leia's raid, effectively. There's not going to be another GL in it. It's one of those. If you're going to be going for Leia, which I know you've got plans to eventually, I'm going to be doing it straight off the back of Jabba. It's one of those. If you've got her, he becomes instant A tier. If you haven't got her, he is sitting there going, I'm useful ish.
I've seen him run with Saw Gerrera at times. I feel like, and I feel like that
Yeah.
combo has kind of worked for some people. Um,
Anything
a
that
niche
can
case
abuse
again.
his burning, anything that can
Yeah,
abuse his burning is good. Now we'll go to A tier. And this is a tier that I like because it's got my two favourite murder bears in.
yeah.
Uh,
The A tier is there's so many heavy hitters in this tier for me, and just good value all around.
yeah.
Um, we
So
can start right at the beginning with Captain Rex, and
Captain Rex
if you're not
lifted Phoenix so far.
great
Yeah,
team,
it doesn't
and
need
for
explaining
light
why he's
investment too. Yeah, for
gone.
light investment, that Phoenix team works well. You can put in the three Zetas. You want Captain Rex's unique. You want Kane and Jarrus's unique with the mass assist and the cleanse, and
Yeah,
you want Sabine's the stagger unique, and that team can just punch up so much. Well worth the investment. He's got an Omicron that makes him even better.
it's
Love
like
the new Phoenix team.
it's people were using what's the big blue one called? Can't remember his name now that I need it.
Zeb,
Kane Zeb. People were using
Gareth Zeb
Zeb.
Aurelius.
People were using Zeb just because he hits like a freight train with Rex. And it's like, what? A support character hitting that hard? Okay. And it is quite
Are you
impressive.
farming Rex right now? I know. I think you are. Right? You're farming Rex.
I have him at 6.5 stars. I'm not
Yeah,
pushing
I'm in the same boat.
because I finished the Murder Bear Princess off prior, so I'm currently playing Farm the Zeta. Um,
Yeah, I have Rex at 6 stars, and I'll be very close to 7 after this event with him. And he's a character that I'm really considering taking to Relics. Just he's been an extra farm twice now, so getting those shards has come super quick for a new marquee character. I'm gonna have him at 7 stars real soon.
it's like for me, I'm tempted because I'm also well, I've got a side farm for Gast, so I'm going to be working on all the guys that go with him, and as we
501st.
501st, it's Rex and the which one is it? Arc Trooper that go with him, and that team in 3v3s is another little nightmare. You get them going fast with their Omicron. Oh, bleh. I've seen one YouTuber that I know that we have a laugh with when he's streaming, and he throws a paddy the second he sees that team at the moment. Oh, right.
Yeah,
So we'll be quick because my computer's just shouting at me saying, I'm low power. So Veers is Veers. He creates one of the
yeah,
better teams. Again, Moff Gideon goes with him, or Moff Gideon can go without him and takes uh, the trooper with him as well, which is another really good team.
yeah.
Um,
Veers makes his own team. The turn meter, the protection recovery. You can use them in a lot of game modes. They punch up like crazy.
Hera, you do Hera. I'm grabbing the charger because it's just gone to 2%.
Sure. Do you want me to just kind of keep talking?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll talk through first. We'll talk about Nisa, Princess Nisa, which I feel bad doing without Womp here because this is one of his favorite characters. You will lovingly hear him refer to her as Princess Murder Bear quite often. I think she's belongs in the A tier. I mean, she's a GLA requirement. She lifts the Ewoks, makes them a much better team. And kind of like Captain Rex, too, we've had an opportunity to pick up her shards in a few different extra ways. So that's a character that if you maybe focus on fleet battles while this event's going on right now, you can get her close to, if not to, 7 stars pretty easily without having to spend too much time on unaccelerated farm.
Yep.
And next up, we do have Scout Trooper. All right, no. You talk about Princess Murder Bear because I know you want
So,
to.
so Princess Murder Bear for me, she's made number one the C3PO event a joke. Mine are Gear 11, and they've gone through it like a hot knife through butter. Yeah, it's very RNG dependent because it's don't stun the murder bear, don't hit the murder bear, don't kill the murder bear. The second she goes down, if Elder can't pick her up the very first time, just restart. Just restart because she is the damage dealer of the team. And overall, yeah, I wouldn't say she's S tier because the team she's on isn't S tier team. But out of
Not even close.
all of them,
Much as I
she
hate to say it to you,
is
I know you love it.
so much stronger. She is
I,
so
I
much
didn't mean to
stronger.
stab you with that dagger there.
It's perfectly fine. It's one of those. Even I agree. The murder bears are great. They make a mess, and they are a messy team to fight. Because if you don't understand how much speed they can have, you look at it and think, "Oh well, Nisa's only 255 speed, which is my Nisa." But when you think anybody basics, she gains turn meter. Anybody uses a special, she attacks and gains turn meter. And all of a sudden, that 255 speed, I tried to work it out using the actual sums. She's the equivalent on that team of nearly 350. So it's like, oh God, how much of a pain is she going to be? And with that, Chirper is, yeah, required. He's the
Yeah,
he's just the
if you
best
don't have
one out of
Chirpa,
the
you're not
bunch.
running any walking.
No, because the only other one that can lead it is Luxray, is it? Luxray, whatever his name is.
Logray has a leader.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just not good. So
no.
without him, that team just doesn't work.
All right. Well, let's
Scout,
talk about Scout Trooper.
yeah,
I
Scout.
have Scout Trooper in the A tier. We know that there's an Omicron coming for the raid. We don't know how good it's going to be. So this one was kind of up in the air for me. Um, I would say I'm probably a proponent of a raid Omicron. So if you've got Scout Trooper ready to go for the raid, if you can get him to a point where that Omicron is going to help you bump up a couple of tiers in the personal track, that's a good investment in my book. Especially if
The
it's only a 10 mat Omicron, like Bush Leia's was. That's a no-brainer. You're going to get so much extra return
yeah,
on that investment over 9 months.
I think overall he's if that Omicron comes out and it's great for the raid, he would go to S10. If it's okay for the raid, like Layers was, yeah, 8 all day long. If CG bugs it up, he would be all the way down with the rest of the Imperial troopers because he's just not
Right?
got
Especially since
that
he's a
much
high Cairo
use.
character.
Yeah, high Cairo, very expensive, and it's just please give us something. And honestly,
Yeah, there's just too much we don't know at this point with him.
I'm hoping that Omicron is great. I'm already sat on 20 specifically for him because if he's that good, I will do it day one for the raid, just for the how good is it. And I will end up more than likely putting that on stream where I won't do it straight away. We'll see what score we get, do it 3 or 4 times to get an average, and then put it on. And if it's worth it, it's worth it. If it's not, it's cost me Omicrons. But I'm prepared to deal with that for testing him as an Omicron character. Gideon, he goes with Gideon so well. It's soul destroying.
Everybody goes well with Gideon.
Even
He's
Padme.
just such a great plug and play character. Yeah, you can even throw him with Padme and catch people off guard and nuke somebody out with the extra courage. He's a plug and play character. That's why I put him in the A tier. Excuse me. There's also some new Mandalorian stuff coming, so you know he's going to fit likely into some kind of team with them as well.
Yeah, there's so much coming that Gideon is good, and with his control situation, it's just you put him with some characters and he's great. You put him with others, he's amazing. And there's some teams that you would never expect, like the Gidme team of Padme, Gideon, and Shakti, and that just eats things alive. And it's like it shouldn't work. It should definitely not work. But holy hell, it's so worth the investment. Terror.
Yeah, there's no lore there to back that one up whatsoever,
Yeah.
but it does work. And another one of my favorites that I put in the A tier is Harrison Dula. Just for what she does for that Phoenix team, she really ties them together and
Sharing
pulls all the uniques in her
uniques.
leadership. Yeah, that's
That
crucial for that team to work.
with Rex, without Rex, she would be down much, much lower. The team wasn't worth it. But now that Rex has come to the game, her unique is crucial for the team. The fact that she's a Radis requirement, it's just,
It's
yeah.
a profundity requirement.
Yeah, profundity. And it's
Yeah,
like,
and the ship is good too. The Ghost is a good ship in that fleet.
no comment. The ghost and me do not get along on any account that I look after. I have had it killed too many times to count. We've already done Chirper, so we'll start from the back of the S tier because we all know who's going to be the top anyway. We've got C3PO. This is the only one that you said to me you've actually roughly lined up in how useful they are. So
Yeah, I'll talk to why I have them in the order that I do. So C3PO for me, he's useful in a bunch of teams. I mean, he normally goes with your CLS team in most standard comps, but you can run him with Padme. I've seen comps where he's run with Rey and Resistance as well. Those don't feel like the best fits for him. But such a great character in his farm. So when we think about his farm, we used to hate farming Ewoks. But with the
yeah,
new raid, you can use them. So his requirements just got a lot better. To me, he's clearly in the S tier.
yeah, a very very good character because he works with rebels, resistance, Old Republic, and Ewoks are all mentioned in his kit. It's such a
Mhm.
wide kit. You've then also got Han Solo being next. I
Yeah, so
agree.
Han and Chewie right next to each other, where they
Yeah,
belong, right?
yeah, definitely where they belong. They complement each other so well. Again, mainly CLS, but you can do Dash Han Chewie. You can use Bam Ham Chewie in Conquest to keep characters alive for you, which that's just an amazing little team to shortcut Conquest. Um, just the two of them together, you is I'm hoping there's synergy between them in this new raid, especially with the guarded mechanic. I just don't see it happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, as far as mechanics in the raid go, it's going to be really interesting to find out what they do come out with because I know they're going to be changing up the kits based on the unit types. But I still think Han is just a worthwhile investment in general. So you look at what he does in the CLS team, getting that shoots first mechanic that really helps them get going. He's also a GL requirement. You need him for Jabba, I believe
Yeah,
JML as well. I could be wrong, but he's used in so many places. He's CLS is one of the best non-GL teams. You're going to get use out of Han Solo regardless,
yeah,
and he's even more accessible than ever. You can buy him with your Mark One raid tokens and have him at 7 stars up and running really early.
yeah. It took me just over 4 weeks to have him full. Um, I joined the guild at week 3. So that says a lot when it's you join a bigger guild and holy hell, it makes a difference. The joke that I have with Chewie is technically he's a requirement for Jabba as well. He's just the stealth requirement because you need him for the Millennium Falcon, and the Millennium Falcon's needed for Luke. And congratulations, Luke is needed for Jabba.
Yeah, and Chewbacca, like you mentioned before, the guard mechanic, it really getting those attacks out of turn with CLS really helps things out. So he's a great character as well.
Also, the
And
fact that
having
if you're guarded, you can't be stunned is just absolutely insane. Especially if you can fudge your team to get it onto Luke and onto Han, it just makes the team horrible. Uh, Piet, I know why he's there. Everybody knows why he's there.
it's more than just the Executor. I'm going to say Piet's Emperor's Trap is a key to the mid game for you.
Yeah.
If you can get your Imperial troopers to stack that up, I mean, even if you're in like Darkside Geo, that was one of the first teams I had that could go full 4 waves in Darkside Geo, just because you can get the turn meter rolling if you got a fast enough Piet and steamroll teams with low gear Imperial troopers. Now we know we have to have them at R8 for Executor. A lot of people have them at R9 just to get the extra speed on the Executor. He's just a great investment all around, and getting some use out of him in this raid is just icing on the cake. Love my Piet. I have him, I think, at 311 speed. He's one of those characters you want to really put your best speed mods on. I don't know what more to add other than that.
I'm still working on my Piet, but I have now unlocked the Executor. He's going to be my first Relic 9 because I need my Executor to be able to counter other Executors. It's one of those, he's just so good in his ship. He's amazing in his team. Even if it is literally Veers, the punch bot, and him, it makes a difference. And yeah, I agree. He is S tier because he is that bloody good on teams. Now,
Any Empire team you put him in, he's very helpful.
yeah, he's even got call outs to Vader in his own gear. He's hardly ever used with Vader, but when he is, it is good. Luke, our love, oh, pardon me, our lovely Jedi Knight.
Now Luke is here mainly because of how many things he unlocks. We talked earlier about how many GLs require Jedi Knight Luke.
Yeah.
You need him for Jabba, you need him for JML. And my thought here is just, yeah, is he for Leia? I thought
Yes.
CLS was Golden
Oh,
Leia, but I could be
yeah,
mistaken.
CLS is for Leia, but all the requirements for getting him are pretty much used at some point.
Yeah, so Jedi Knight Luke, I have a feeling he's going to be to this raid what Jedi Knight Revan was to the previous raid. He's very useful with a Jedi Master Luke team as well. What was that?
I'm hoping that's Nisa, to be honest, but I can see it more likely to be him than Nisa.
Yeah, he's also the key to the military might. I believe it is the assault battle to get to challenge tier 3. Almost impossible to do unless you have Jedi Knight Luke. So he helps you there with some more income on the account. Great character all around.
You've
I don't know what
also
more to
got
add. He's just a beast.
yeah, you've got his team that's in threes, which is him, Revan, and Hoda, and the three of them just absolutely nuke something off the board, and it is just hilarious to watch. I use it on one of the accounts, and it's just brutal, absolutely brutal. And
And one more thing I'll add with him is the investment level that it requires with those GLs. I think it's Relic 8 for Jabba, if I'm not mistaken, with Jedi Knight Luke. If you're going to be investing that much in him, you should get some use out of him in the raid.
Yeah. The thing is, even at Relic 8, he is so worth it. It's not just, oh, well, Relic 7's where you stop with most attackers. Most. He hits like a train anyway. You just want him to have more health to keep him alive a bit longer, for him to smash something in the face for you, and you laugh. Because it's like the account that I use a lot, the only thing that I could clear this time, because I was talking to you about it, I'm against an account that's you could add my account to hit the account I'm running, and I'm still not even the same. I'm coming up to 3.5 mil, and it's over 10. I'm in a Rhodium in
Yeah.
that one. It's not. It's not pleasant,
Gotta
and
love that GAC matchmaking.
I'll tell you what. I know it's only Relic 3, and Relic 5, the team, but it ate Relic 8. It just ate the team, and it was like, and I'm happy. Only team I can do anything about, but I'm happy. So, GL
Yeah.
Lane. We
Yeah, I debated
all
putting
know
her in
why
the B
she's
tier.
there.
No, I didn't. Yeah, she's a monster. I mean, if you're gonna invest in her and if you can get her early, it's gonna really slingshot you to the top of your guild's crate raid, Return of the Jedi raid scores. It's and she's dominating. They said she wasn't gonna be a defensive GL, and she is dominating on defense in Grand Arena.
Oh, 1 second. I've just pulled the stream up on the wrong screen. Uh, so, yeah, as she is in 3v3, she's an absolute beast. There's nothing that can be done about her. Literally, I've seen so many different YouTubers attempt it. I've seen so many different ways it can be attempted, and you try the way that you used last time, and it doesn't work the second time. And it's like, what? How? So
And
she is
I'll say this
so
for her as
good.
well. The requirements for GLA were very player friendly. I think just with what they gave you with overlap with Jedi Master Luke and Jabba, making those three GLs such synergized farms was very friendly to the community, and you can get a lot of use out of her requirements in this raid as well. So
You've
kudos to
also,
CG for that.
yeah, you've also even got tie-ins to Profanity in her requirements. So it's like they've tied three good GLs and a good ship all together. As I was saying to you, once I finish Jabba, I do go for Leia because I'm gonna have to. Because the new raid's out, I want her for the raid to get the score up, to get more gear, to accelerate everything else. But it's then at the end of doing that, you sit there and you go, I'm open to go Profanity and Jedi Master Luke and not care because I've got so much of the requirements from the two others that I've already done. And yeah, I am going to be doing that. But Leia is currently going to be a defensive GL for me. We'll see how that changes. Jabba is a defensive
Until people
GL.
figure it out, you might as well. Yeah.
Jabba is a defensive GL anyway. He's not good on attack. And then you've got JML, where it's, yeah, another defensive one. At the end of the day, people that have seen me play GAC know I play defensive. I would prefer to go in with a bag of uselessness. But GL Leia was meant for attack. People tried her on attack, discovered she is great on attack, but then discovered there's no counters for her that work.
Yeah. Spoiler alert: she's good everywhere.
Yeah. And yes, I know the Endor escalation that she's got a new level to, which, yay, we thought it was going to be as good as Jabba's. Yeah, we shouldn't have trusted CG with that one, but that's a different argument that, yeah, it's not great, but at the end of the day, she does it far too easily anyway.
It's just extra free stuff. If you farm Leia, you get that too. So
Yeah. Well, that is the end of our list. We've come to the very end of it. It's it's been a longer video than I thought. It's going to be about 30 minutes, but it is a lot to go through anyway. I've got a couple of short video ideas. I've got the unlock video coming for C3PO to show just how low gear you can go. Um, any video ideas, feel free to put them in the comments or message them direct. And yeah, let's have a brilliant rest of the day. Let's see how many stupid counters we come up with for Leia. because somebody needs to do it. And yeah, let's have a good one. And I will be starting to stream more. I know that we've had a bit of a lapse in streaming recently. That's because I've had to have operations on my back again. Um, had one today. I'm not meant to be sat upright. Yeah, that's not happening, honest. But yeah, let's have a good one, and let's hope to get some more information on when this is coming out. When it does come out, I'm very likely to stream for the entirety of the day to just run team after team after team. If I can keep resetting and there's no limit to resetting, I will probably run every Ewok team by the end of first 2 hours. So I'm going to be in Ewok hell. I already know it. I don't have to think
Or you
twice.
want heaven?
Could be. It could be that Jawa team. It could be the, oh, what the? There's no proper investment, and yet it's doing so well. But yeah,
Time will tell.
time will tell. We'll hopefully some point this week get the road ahead, which we're all waiting for. Everybody's waiting for. I know we've got more Lightspeed bundles coming, which is another video I am planning to do of when they drop. I will do the video straight after they've been purchased and see what teams we can bodge together. And no doubt, as a guild, they'll love it again because it'll be and small GP explosion. So
Hey,
have
just
a
in
good
time
one.
for our first row.
Well, you never know. If it's people are thinking they're going to drop them Thursday or Friday because it's quite a fair few people's paydays, especially in the US, especially in the UK manufacturing sections. A lot of the manufacturing across Europe pays on the last Friday of the month. So it makes sense that next Thursday drop the kit, get a massive amount, but the next day. So one of those, we'll see what happens with those. I will do a video about my account prior to purchasing them. So if they do come up on the Thursday, I will put up a video on Thursday about where I am, and then buy the packs on the Friday to go. And this is now where we're at because since the last video, there's Starkiller on there, there's all the rest of the packs. And as we talked about earlier, my Starkiller, yeah, he's not finished yet, but he's already a monster. So have a wonderful day, everybody. I'll start streaming GAC again soon, but everybody have a great day and enjoy.